Okay, let's talk about high shear kits in general and the Evolution high shear kit specifically. Here's the Evolution 13. I've made probably a couple of hundred of these for guys. It's really worked out well. Let's see. Here's the template hardware I made for it. I add arc brackets, 4-jet spray bar, sell it as a complete assembly along with a supply line for 110 bucks, I believe. All the guy's got to do is turn a wrench to put it on. It's a pretty sweet deal. The only thing it needs other than this is a Teflon glide. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's look at this wand. This is a heck of a good wand. I love this wand. A lot of guys like it. It's with the addition of the high shear, I can't even get under it low enough to show you what's going on, but you can sort of get the idea if you've ever known this wand. Look at that gentle bend. It's one of the sweetest wands made, man, other than it's plastic. Well, it holds up except for that aluminum plate down there. We'll talk about that. So anyway, if you know this wand, you remember it had 2 jets. Now it's got 4. The 4 are low, much low, well, about half the distance. They were about 2 3/4. Now they're about 1 1/2, somewhere between 1 1/4, 1 1/2. Anyway, it's a 4-jet. We've tried 5-jet. 4 seems to be a sweet spot. 13-inch wide wand is kind of irregular, unusual compared to what we stick with in the industry, but it's still a great wand. All the shear kits do the same thing. They lower the jets. They give you a more evenly spaced, broader distribution, hot water, closer to the carpet, better penetration of the droplets, and reach all the way out to the end, as opposed to the 2-jet. It's made by a company that's conservative by nature. They're always losing an inch on either side. Come on, man. 13 inches now, an 11-inch cleaning path. Hello, that isn't good. Anyway, Evolution 13 4-jet wand, beautiful. Here's why everybody likes it. It comes already assembled, ready to go. Here's 1 or 2 actually for a Frank Viola in Fairfield, New Jersey. First time I've heard from this guy. He's buying 2 of them, 2 Evolution high shear kits. Just let me name what he needs. I'm going with pretty much medium flow and medium everything across the board. He's getting a few swivel sets and some Joe valves. Thanks, Frank. He opens his priority flat rate envelope. He'll get in about 3 days. Sorry, I'm behind making it. He should already had it, but tough luck, Frank. This is what he sees. He gets the high shear kit. These ought to be on a store. It's my fault. I ought to send a few to Jonathan, let him get them, do his fancy photographs. But there's what it looks like, sort of. You get a supply line all ready to go. You get an 1/8-inch QD, okay, and you get this assembly. It's all stainless except for that brass fitting from Foster. You get that hardware I was telling you about. You get all stainless fittings on the back. It's one of the better high shear kits I made. All stainless hardware. Okay. Now we're kind of going backwards. I showed you the wand with it sort of on there, or a guy putting it on, and then I showed you what it looks like when Frank gets it, so he can put it on. Now let's talk about actually making it, see how it's made, why it's made the way it is, and why everybody likes it. Yeah, I wanted to show you the spray jets. You can see them on the store, but here they are up close. 4-jet, 5-jet, 6-jet. 4-jet spray bars typically used for the 12-inch heads. 5-jets typically for the 14 or the 15. Seems to be real popular with the Mai Tai 15. I just raise the jets up a little bit higher. Typically they're 1 1/4 inches off the floor. These are at 1 1/2 inch, and then you got the 6-jet, which is your 15 and 16-inch head. And of course all of these take the ultimate V-jet You can see here I make them all up for you where they're all ready to go. This one we're doing now is the Evolution 13. It's using the 110015 jets, and made up some fresh jet cleaning tools. So we're ready there for more action. I'm going through those pretty quick. Here's some of the things you'll see in the High Shear Kit. A protractor of all things, nice ruler, Allen wrench, floor simulator. There's the Evolution kit, some calipers, messy epoxy goop up mess there. Okay, so, and then of course over here we've got that High Shear Kit assembly that I was showing you. Okay, so here's the Evolution wand. I'm in the position I like to work on it. I wanted to show you kind of what's involved with getting it ready to rock and roll for somebody. I've got this old used Evolution 13 I use to install the assembly and make sure it's everything's positioned right and adjusted right. So you can see the U-shaped hardware in the back, the arc brackets, wing nut, spray bar, QD there, and it's let's talk about the protractor. Protractor, standard one, glide surface. Put it across the surface like it was simulating the floor, and then you can sort of approximate visualizing the path of the water leaving the jet. You can visualize what the shear angle is going to be. That's what we're talking about here with High Shear Kits. What is the shear angle? It's around 50 degrees at this setting. One of the cool things I do with these kits is use a curved arc bracket. Allows you to adjust the spray bar in or out, and that changes the angle from here to that's not very much shear. That's 40 degrees. Actually, it is over for most wands. That's very high shear already. It's a very high shear wand at any setting. This is super high shear, but I usually set it about like this for the guys. It's around 40 degrees. 45 is kind of the ideal shear angle. Greenie had it at about 47 on his greenhorn. I do about the same on the VT, which is a real similar wand. Eric, I think his is at 45. And one of the first ones to ever do high shear, getting the jets low and multiple jets and the spacing correctly, was the big brother to this wand, right? The Evolution 16. High shear. You know, it goes back to the the HydroMaster upholstery tool. That was one of the first tools that featured high shear. Now most of the wands have them. No more 2 jets like this wand used to have way up here. Now they're 4, evenly spaced, closer, hotter water, broader coverage, more even spacing. Means better cleaning and faster dry times. Hotter the water, the faster it evaporates, right? Okay, so we've kind of gone backwards, looking at one finished, coming out of the envelope, end user installing it real easily. Let's see how that went together. Basically, we're starting with this U-shaped bracket, okay, and the arc brackets that are installed. See the curvature. I use all stainless screws and nuts, locking nuts back here, rubber, so they won't move around on you. Okay, so this one's pretty much made and ready to go. And then we've got the spray bar itself. Cool thing about these high shear kits is you can change out the entire jet flow of your system. These are 110015 jets. Let's say you wanted 1101s. Just pull off the whole spray bar, slide on a new one with 1101s in them. Real easy. And if you want to change the jets, you just put the whole spray bar in the vise and use a 1/2-inch ratchet wrench and pull out the jets, put in the new ones. So it's real quick and easy. I use calipers to ensure that the jets are leaving the high shear kit right about the same spot, same distance from the same distance from the arc brackets. So if my, if you think about it, if all my jets are approximately the same distance on the front from the back of the spray bar to the front of the jet, then they're all going to be the same distance from the arc bracket down to the floor, which is what you want. And I did 2 kits for this guy, Frank. Here's his other one, and you could see that same distance is what I was shooting for, about 38.5 millimeters on all 4 jets. So here's one kit he's got ready, and I'm about to finish up the other one. I mean, it was pretty much finished. I just wanted to put it on the wand to make sure it was right. But let's keep going backwards. Oh, doesn't go this way, it goes this way. I kind of standardized these high shear kits with the spray bar over on the right. If the wand was right side up, the spray bar fitting connection, that is, would be over here. So you can get at these tiny little number 2 Allen screws, which you use these cool little tools here for, which are made by this company here. These people ought to get a gold medal for the best tools around, man. We should throw away Phillips and regular screws and go to this Bond Huss. This is a big one that you could use to adjust, to tighten on, like the Westpac, old style Westpac handles to their wands. Super durable. I don't know if you've ever seen these guys, but they're amazing little screws. I've got 2 of these, been using them for 7 years now. You can't wear them out. You'll lose them before you ever break them. Anyway, this is used to tighten these little tiny screws. After we have, I'm going to loose it. We're going to kind of go backwards, okay? I'm going to show you how you can adjust this. Let's say 2 years down the road, your tech's kind of messed everything up and it ain't exactly hanging on the wand right. One day you walk out in the shop and that's what your high shear kit looks like. No problem. Get your little Allen wrench. That's all these are, is fancy Allen wrenches. I give you one of these when you buy the high shear kit. I just like to use mine because it's just much more functional and useful and easy to use. So all you do is just sort of eyeball it, get it back the way you think it ought to be, and you'll be close. Hello. No, sorry, let me grab it. First time I've dropped a spray bar. Okay, I'm still not right. Just get it kind of close so it goes on there. Get it kind of tight so it's sort of where it's supposed to be, and you can see it's still way off, right? So just slide it one way or the other till you kind of feel like it's in the right place, and then either tighten it down or actually get out a ruler and measure it. I measure it. I want to go from the hole in the jet, the orifice of the jet, out to the end of the wand, and on this particular wand it's about 2 3/4. Hope you guys can see that now. See, it's about 3 the way I've got it, so I need to move it a little bit this way. That's getting about right. Do the same thing over here. From the orifice out, about 2 3/4. That's what I want. No problem. How long did that take? A minute? Maybe a little longer using an Allen wrench, but not a big deal. If you see them out of adjustment, you want to get them adjusted. It's that easy. Wing nut tight is usually plenty tight, unless you ram it into a table. I kind of think of my high shear kits as like a guitar. You're going to take a little better care of a decent guitar now. Yeah, it had the 2 jets. You could have thrown it through the window and it still worked, but now we've got a little more of a high precision tool. Let's take care of it. Let's be a little more careful. We don't need to throw it from 10 feet away into the truck. Okay, so there it is. It's pretty much ready to go. We've just adjusted the left and right what I didn't discuss is adjusting the strike, which is the path the water follows, leaving the jets to the carpet. You can simulate that with a ruler like this, that jet's pointing about right there, about a ½ inch behind the glide. Not back here, it's not hitting the glide. Same here, you know, once they're right, that's about how you want them. Somewhere between a 1/8 and a ½ inch behind the glide, okay? And you can simulate the floor by taking another flat piece of metal or wood or cardboard, whatever, and putting the jet in, putting the ruler in the jet to simulate the path of the water and measure the distance to the floor. Because this here is representing the floor, the plane of the floor. Where the two intersect, you can measure and see what the distance is, and on these wands with this high shear kit, you're shooting for about 1½ inch, and that's what we've got. So I've already done a little bit of playing with that, and to do that, it's a pretty crude method, but it works great. You just take a tube and bend the arc brackets up or down just the slightest amount to change the strike. And so I've already done that on this one. So all I got to do is get this tight and take it off of the wand, put it in a package, and ship it to the guy. Make him a supply line. And that's the Evolution 13 High Shear Kit. Okay, so when he gets it, all he's got to do is these two acorn nuts, right? Slide it on, tighten it down, install his supply line, which I've made complete for you guys. You know, it goes right on there, and then this screws in to another good feature of these wands. They all come with the Westpac Soft Touch, so that screws right onto your Soft Touch trigger valve, and you're back in business with a high quality Parker Parflex 540N-3 supply line. It's about as good as it gets. It's what I put on all my custom wands, and you got a good looking little high shear kit there for a really good wand. The only other thing to discuss here is this aluminum plate, whatever you call it, that goes across, that's designed to hold the glide. They're using a Delrin glide, which is quite a bit of friction relative to Teflon. I wish you guys had put Teflon glides on here. That way it would relieve some of that friction of going back and forth so many thousands of times throughout the life of the glide. If you do that, your wand is going to last longer. If you keep this Delrin on here, as some of you already know, it breaks loose from this plastic bond to the head. Okay, that's not, it looks super strong, but it isn't. Well, it is after 3 or 4 years it isn't. So you've got to do what you can to preserve the life of the wand. The first thing that's going to go, and you can't fix it, is that bond between this aluminum, whatever you call it, and the head itself. Once that breaks loose, call the manufacturer, you can't replace that. Buy a whole new wand, $700 or whatever it is. You got to start all over. Teflon glide on here, no problem. You'll probably get another 2 or 3 years out of it anyway, and that's probably good enough for the value that this wand is going to give you. It's a really good wand. It's worth putting a high shear kit on. It's worth putting a glide on. It's already got the soft touch. Get you a couple of rebuild kits. Maybe get you a backup spray bar for different seasons or different types of jobs. Remember, that's low shear. That's going to give you better penetration. This is high shear. This is going to skim the carpet. You use this in the ladies' family formal room where it's not even dirty. It'll be dry before you're done. Use this in your filthy apartments, okay? Simple matter of pushing it and pulling it. That's the arc brack system. You don't want to go with 015 medium flow. You want to go with super high flow. Fine. Pull off the whole spray bar and put on a second spray bar. You can buy them on the store. Okay? So that's it on the high shear kits. In general, they're all based on this same concept. I make the hardware for your wand to allow you to put a spray bar on there that gives you the right height, distance that is, of the jets from the floor, the right spacing, so you get the broad coverage without a ton of overspray. And all you got to do is buy it and put it on and go back to work. Most of them come with a supply line if they need one. Some of them I try to make the kit so you don't need one. You just use the existing spray, supply line that it's got, and you're in business. Hope you like them. $110 delivered. See ya.